Alright, welcome back after the success of my couple of days doing painting, bits and bobs around here. Back to the other side of life, and that's these doors. So I'm going to let this lot cure. That's gone off pretty well. That's the body sat underneath that wrap bed, keep it clean, bulkheads down that side. There's other bits and bobs we've done as well, but yeah. So what we're doing now today is D-Day for this door. I've repaired all the outside, as you may have seen in a previous video. If not, go back and look. Quite impressive, if I say so myself. But this crustacean down here should be bottom door frame, and it was, no more. So today's mission is to take the weather strip off. Along this leading edge here, the door skin itself is folded over the edge of the plate on the back of the bottom of the frame, if that makes sense. So this box section here, on the back of it, has a thin plate that then sits against the door skin and goes up the inside of the fold there. Holds it all together. If you were replacing the door skin, life's a lot easier. You just get a flat wheel or a grinder, go all along that edge, and just literally take the edge of the door skin off, and this side will come off and that side will come off, and jobs are good, and leaves you with the door frame. But because we have to carefully unpick the door skin off of the frame all the way along, fold it back just enough to slide this up and out, slide the new one back underneath, then hammer and dolly it all along, pinch it back up, and put the weather strip back on. Sounds easy, doesn't it? Yeah. So first things first, I'm going to get that off. That's what's that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 pop rivets. See what we got left after that. In fact, I can just do that straight off the bat because I've got my gun drill set up here. There we are. Let's get that off. These little things comes as part of a set off of Amazon, I think it was. Dirt cheap little plastic trim clip removers. There's about 8 pieces in the set, but all got different purposes. Really good for doing things like this. I don't know, normally up the inside of these is like a little, no, it's not on this one. There's like a little aluminium strip which holds it flat, and when you go like pull it off, it bends the strip, you'll never get it straight again. But as it happens on this, there isn't one. Maybe there isn't on Landrovers, who knows? So that little weather strip there, seen better days, to be honest. We'll see about getting a replacement, I think. But yeah, this is our mission, not this. We'll put that in the pile of Landrover parts box, which is over here. And what we got to do with here, let's take this off a tripod and have a look. So obviously the rivet heads where I've just drilled them out, but that's shot. That basically wants repairing from there downwards. You can see where the dents were inside. It's pushed all this matting, this soundproof anti-vibration mat, pushed it all inwards when it was dented. Where I've knocked all the dents out, you can see where I've been. Yeah, it's left them cracks in there, but there's not a lot I can do about that. We've all got scars. So yeah, going along, there's your box section in there. Well, would have been. That's completely disintegrated. And then it's got like a plate on the top. Holes strategically placed along there for the trim panel to clip into. Them holes aren't meant to be there, that's just fatigue. And yeah, pretty much that on the way. So yeah, there's the bit I was on about, like the flange on there. That's what slides underneath that part of the door skin there. So let's have a go at getting this off, I think. It's going to be grinding and stuff. Let's have a look. Right, door skin. pig's trotter, whatever you want to call them. Good for the job because it can go just under the edge and just lift it up slightly. Don't want to go berserk, I don't want to bend it, I don't want to misshape it, but as you can see it's just lifting it up away from the door frame. Enough. And just go along all the way along. Basically I want enough for this to slide out. The new one we're going to make, I want that to slide in. And tap this back down with the hammer and dolly, and away we go. Let's change your angle. Like we said so many times about this, aluminium's great, it's so soft and malleable, but it's also such a delicate material that it's so easy to damage it, stretch it. So you have to be quite careful, but then this is... There's a split thing here because you've got to try and be careful and forceful at the same time. I'm waffling. I'm going to just speed this bit up for you. There we are, back to it. So, as you can see, it's all lifted all the way along the seam. There's a bit of corrosion in it along this one, which made it start to split. It's not perfect, but that'll tap back down. When I put this back down, I'll seam seal it anyway. The back end came up beautifully, which has exposed that part of the frame, which is what's got to come out. Leave the skin behind, tap it all back down afterwards. Happy days. So the next thing we got to establish is what we got in the way of framework inside. In fact, that works just fine. You can see it's straight across there. Down there, that'll work perfectly for what we want. And this end, exactly the same. You have to be a bit careful on this end because there are the holes which go through for the hinges. If it's rotted through there, you probably should replace it from up here somewhere. Put new collars in there for the bolts to come through and everything else so that it doesn't crush it. As luck would have it, I am just about going to miss that, so happy days. So the next thing to do is cut through there, cut through that. That's noisy. It won't be if I can't find my grinder though. What done with that? I was talking about earlier for flat wheels and stuff for cutting through. If you get one of them on your grinder, run it all the way down that seam, the full length, that'll literally just come apart. So if you're replacing the door skin, that's your way to go. Don't mess about doing all this. If you aren't replacing it, for Christ's sake, don't do that because you'll have no door skin left. But when I said in a previous video about simplicity of it, replacing the skin, it's just literally just grind all the way around the circumference of the door, drop that skin off, drop the new one on, tap the edges over, hammer and dolly. Probably sounds more daunting than it really is, but here we are, aren't it? Ear defenders, eye protection. I ain't that blind, I can still wear protective glasses, not need my specs. Okie doke. Yeah, they're a great deal holding this together, to be honest. I need to be aggressive, I just don't want to cut my fingers on this savage old metal. It's a bit funny actually, because normally I've got a radio blaring in here. Keeps me going over day to day. Obviously because of copyright restrictions, that ain't happening. So if you hear me start singing and stuff, I do apologise. It's just, that's what I do. There you go. As you see, we had to get a little bit more brutal. I had to just cut through this bit of frame here because I didn't take into account it would be joined to the top, did I? So I've had to carefully go through that without going through the outer skin. Same this corner, which has now freed it up. It's bonded to the actual door skin, but we've got what's it called? Christ, things like that. I just forget. Sikaflex. Sikaflex is a flexible sealant adhesive, mostly used in the motorhome trade, and it's pretty damn good stuff actually. So if you ever need to seal anything, waterproof it and glue it at the same time, that's your friend. Like that. That's the door frame bottom. If you go anywhere on the internet, you can actually buy that as a repair panel. Comes in a length, probably about that long, so you can cut the corners off and go up the sides if you need to. And they rot out for fun on Defenders. It's a daily occurrence. So let's have a look at this, get this tidied up and start measuring up and make up our repair panel, because we haven't got one. We've got to make one. We'll recover some of the box section that we're going to replace it with. This door is never going to rot out again. Never. In fact, when they bury this Landrover, this is still going to be in one part, because you see the thickness of that box section. That is epic. We'll get a piece of fit, shall we? There we are. Like I say, thick as. That's a lovely job. So what I've got to do, that's a lovely fit actually, that really is. Quite chuffed with that. Yeah, all I've got to do is now clean all this off, because all that corrosion is no good to man or beast, and cut and measure a back plate for it to go, the one that goes underneath the skin, bonds to there, weld them together, stuff it in there, happy days, all before lunch. Sikaflex, you can see on adhesive, sealant and filler. I've never used it as filler, but I've definitely used it as an adhesive sealant, and it's good. Next up, whoosh, save a lot of messing about, clean up. I think a new vacuum cleaner is on my list of stuff I need to look at. Because let's be honest, that's only just doing the job. Incorporate the paintbrush into the job, speed it up, get it done this side of Christmas anyway. I think that was worth it. So for this part, we are going to want to cut a piece of steel, and it's going to want to be approximately 70 mil by at most 820, 70 by 820, so it's probably 70 by 100, 800, sorry. We're going to use that piece of galv there. And Yeah. I'll put you on hold again for a moment. So what we got our mitts on here is some 19 gauge 1mm steel galvanised. So what I really need to do is square this up. Some pigeons coming in there. If I start from the other end, that's a lot squarer than this end is. Yep. So what I need to do is 820 820. There's our first cut. Can't beat a Chippy's pencil, can you? I've got a scribe, but off the top of my head, I can't tell you where it is. So there we are. There's a surprise, eh? So is that 140? That's way over 140, which is good because that's what I want it to be. So 140 is there. Is there. I have to be a bit savage here because I do have a metal guillotine, but it's nowhere near big enough for this. So you cut that, but there's no way it's going down there. So start as you mean to continue. Out comes the old cutting wheel again, and I'll spare you that. I'm just going to quickly nip this up. Right, hang on a minute. Pause me music. Right, where were we? That's right. So inside that door, I have a fillet like that. A piece of massively over-engineered steel on top that'll sit inside like that. Edge of the door skin will fold back over, and all I need to do is make a fillet, go in there and there. That'll be that one done. What I need to do is try and do as much of the fabrication work as I can away from the door, because being aluminium, it'll be a mess. Also worth noting, saying I am fully aware of the carcinogenic nature of using galvanised steel when welding, and I will wear appropriate breathing apparatus. P3RD filtration. As you can see from this, I'll deconstruct it quick. I have gone over the top and taken the actual coating off, which flakes, but obviously the gases from within still incredibly toxic. Something worth considering if you are welding galvanised steel. Try and do it in as much of a ventilated area where the best breathing apparatus or respirator that you can get your mitts on. Meanwhile, let's crack on with this. There we are. Mask. Let's get a bit of this going. There we are, unexpected visitor, which really screwed everything up, but he bought a Mars bar, so fair play. And then the battery went flat on the GoPro. Hey! So, back to it, continue welding, still got my mask on, blah blah blah. Not going to kill myself. Yeah, let's carry on. on, probably put the earth on that, make it weld so much better. Ta-da! So, I say so many times. What you got is an immense piece of box section now, bonded to the door. Once I've bonded it, what I need to do is just make some little infills now to go for the upright sections. I've taken out that was corroded. 2 little bits of box in there. And then that's good to be bonded and clamped and left for a few hours to go off. But let me know, do you think that's just massively overkill and ridiculous, or bear in mind, I think, off the top of my head, which is quite big actually, one of those in normal form as a repair panel is 35 quid. So a pair of them is about 70 quid. And I've made that out of bits and bobs we've got kicking around and just took a bit of my time to do it. Was it a saving, or have I ripped myself off and should have bought something that was going to rot away in 5 minutes? I don't know. You let me know. So, shove that back in there now, measure up. Make the little top bits. Happy days. And just like that. Now, that's installed. Tacked in, tacked to the backing plate all the way along. You can just see what it's squidged out. There's a line of Sikaflex all the way along there. The skin edge has now been put back over. Just by the little tack welds, but there you are. And I've capped the ends, because obviously being a hollow tube, that is probably the most substantial door bottom you'll ever get on a Landrover Defender.